The abduction, Earth's first contact. The night sky over New Mexico shimmered with an eerie, otherworldly glow. Dr. Samantha Chen, lead astronomer at the Sunspot Solar Observatory, squinted through her telescope, her heart racing. The anomaly she'd been tracking for weeks had suddenly accelerated, its trajectory now unmistakably aimed at Earth. "This can't be happening," she muttered, fumbling for her phone. Her fingers trembled as she dialed her colleague, Dr. James Harper, at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. "James, it's Sam. You need to see this. The object, it's changed course. It's heading straight for us." Before James could respond, a deafening boom shook the observatory. Samantha stumbled, barely managing to keep her footing as she rushed to the window. Her jaw dropped at the sight that greeted her. A massive, disc-shaped craft hovered above the desert floor, its metallic surface gleaming in the moonlight. Pulsating lights along its rim cast an otherworldly glow across the landscape. Samantha's scientific mind reeled, trying to process the impossible scene before her. "Oh my God," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the low, thrumming hum emanating from the craft. "They're here." As if in response to her words, a brilliant beam of light shot down from the underside of the craft, illuminating a circular area on the ground. Samantha watched in horror as small, dark figures began to descend through the beam. Her survival instincts finally kicking in, Samantha bolted for the door. She had to warn someone, anyone, about what was happening. But as she reached for the handle, the door flew open of its own accord. Standing before her was a tall, slender figure with almond-shaped eyes and grayish skin. Samantha's scream caught in her throat as the alien reached out a long, spindly hand towards her. The world around her began to fade, her consciousness slipping away as she felt herself being lifted off the ground. When Samantha awoke, she found herself in a sterile white room that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. Panic gripped her as she realized she was strapped to a cold, metallic table. She struggled against her restraints, her scientific mind racing to comprehend her situation. "Hello," she called out, her voice echoing in the empty chamber. "Is anyone there?" As if in response, a door she hadn't noticed before slid open with a soft hiss. Two aliens entered, their movements fluid and graceful. Samantha's heart pounded in her chest as they approached, their large, black eyes studying her with an unsettling intensity. One of the aliens raised a hand, holding what appeared to be a small crystalline device. It emitted a soft blue glow, and suddenly, Samantha could understand their thoughts. "Human," the alien's voice echoed in her mind. "You have been chosen." Samantha swallowed hard, forcing herself to remain calm. "Chosen for what?" she asked, her scientific curiosity battling with her fear. "To be the bridge," came the reply, "between your kind and ours." As the aliens continued to examine her, Samantha's mind raced. She realized that this was humanity's first true contact with an extraterrestrial species. Despite her fear, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the magnitude of this moment. "Why me?" she managed to ask. The alien tilted its head, regarding her with what seemed like curiosity. "Your mind, it shines brightly. You seek knowledge, as we do." Samantha's scientific training kicked in, and she began to ask questions rapid fire. "Where are you from? How did you travel here? What's the purpose of your visit?" The aliens exchanged a look that Samantha couldn't interpret. "All will be revealed in time," one of them answered. "For now, we must prepare you." Before Samantha could ask what they meant by prepare, she felt a sharp pinch in her arm. Looking down, she saw one of the aliens withdrawing a syringe-like device from her skin. Almost immediately, her vision began to blur. "Wait," she slurred, fighting against the encroaching darkness. "I have so many more questions." As Samantha slipped into unconsciousness, she was unaware of the chaos unfolding back on Earth. News of the alien craft had spread like wildfire, causing panic and confusion across the globe. Governments scrambled to respond, militaries were put on high alert, and civilians alternated between terror and fascination. In Washington, D.C., President Elena Rodriguez sat in the Situation Room, surrounded by her top advisors and military officials. The atmosphere was tense, the air thick with anxiety and uncertainty. "What are our options?" the president asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. General Michael Stone, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, cleared his throat. "Madam President, we've mobilized our forces and have jets in the air near the craft's last known location. But what, General?" the president pressed. "But we're dealing with technology far beyond our own," he admitted. "Our weapons may be useless against them." Secretary of State David Chen spoke up. "Madam President, I strongly advise against any aggressive action. We don't know their capabilities or intentions. A misstep could be catastrophic for humanity." President Rodriguez nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. "What about communication? Have we made any progress in establishing contact?" Dr. Amelia Foster, the newly appointed head of the hastily formed Extraterrestrial Communication Task Force, stepped forward. "We've been broadcasting messages on all available frequencies, Madam President. So far, we've received no response." As the discussion continued, a young aide burst into the room, his face pale. "Madam President," he gasped, "we've just received reports of mass abductions across the country. Hundreds, possibly thousands of people just vanished." The room fell silent, the implications of this news sinking in. President Rodriguez stood, her expression grim but determined. "Ladies and gentlemen," she addressed the room, "we are facing the greatest challenge in human history. But we will not cower in fear. We will stand united, we will adapt, and we will overcome." As she spoke, her words were being broadcast to millions of frightened citizens around the world. In living rooms, town squares, and refugee centers, people huddled around televisions and radios, clinging to every word. "My fellow citizens of Earth," the president continued, her voice strong and unwavering, "we are not alone in the universe. And while this revelation brings with it great uncertainty and fear, it also brings opportunity. An opportunity to show the true strength of the human spirit." Meanwhile, back on the alien craft, Samantha Chen was beginning to stir. As she slowly regained consciousness, she became aware of a strange sensation coursing through her body. It felt as if every cell was vibrating with an otherworldly energy. She opened her eyes, blinking against the harsh white light. To her surprise, she was no longer restrained. Sitting up slowly, she looked down at her hands, flexing her fingers. Everything looked the same, and yet something felt profoundly different. "Welcome back, Samantha Chen," a voice echoed in her mind. She looked up to see one of the aliens standing before her. The integration was successful. "Integration?" Samantha asked, her voice hoarse. "What did you do to me?" The alien's large eyes seemed to soften. "We have given you a gift. The ability to understand us, to communicate with us, and in time, to help your people understand us as well." As Samantha processed this information, she became aware of a faint humming in the back of her mind. Concentrating on it, she was astonished to realize she could sense the presence of the aliens around her, could almost hear their thoughts. "Why?" she asked, both terrified and fascinated by this new ability. "Why are you here? What do you want from us?" The alien stepped closer, its slender hand reaching out to touch Samantha's forehead. In that instant, a flood of images and sensations washed over her. She saw a dying world, a desperate race searching the stars for salvation. She felt their fear, their hope, and their determination. "We need your help, Samantha Chen," the alien said, its mental voice tinged with desperation. "Our world is dying. We have traveled across the galaxy in search of a new home, but we cannot simply take your world. We seek coexistence." As the alien's hand dropped away, Samantha gasped, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what she had just experienced. She understood now the enormity of the task before her. She was to be the translator, the mediator between two vastly different species. "But the abductions," she said, remembering the terror she had felt. "Why take people by force?" We needed to understand, the alien explained. To learn your languages, your cultures, your biology. It was regrettable but necessary. Samantha stood, her legs shaky but her resolve strong. I'll help you, she said, surprising herself with her certainty. But you need to return the others, and we need to establish proper communication with our leaders. No more abductions, no more secrecy. The alien seemed to consider this for a moment before nodding. Agreed. You will be our emissary, Samantha Chen. Through you, we will build a bridge between our peoples. As Samantha prepared to face this monumental task, she couldn't help but feel a mix of fear and exhilaration. The fate of two species now rested, in part, on her shoulders. But as she thought about the resilience and adaptability of humanity, she felt a surge of hope. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that humanity would face them with courage, ingenuity, and an unbreakable spirit. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and Samantha Chen was standing at its forefront. The extraterrestrial enigma, unraveling alien motives. The world held its breath as Dr. Samantha Chen, now humanity's unlikely ambassador, stepped onto the podium at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The room buzzed with tension, filled to capacity with world leaders, scientists, and media representatives. Millions more watched the live broadcast, hungry for answers about the mysterious alien visitors. Samantha took a deep breath, acutely aware of the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. She glanced to her left, where an alien stood, its tall, willowy form drawing gasps and murmurs from the audience. Ladies and gentlemen of Earth, Samantha began, her voice steady despite her racing heart. I stand before you today to bridge the gap between our world and theirs. What I'm about to share will challenge everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. As Samantha spoke, screens around the room flickered to life, displaying breathtaking images of the aliens' home world. Vast of awe echoed through the chamber at the sight of towering crystal spires, bioluminescent forests, and cities that seemed to float on clouds. The beings we've come to know as the Zartharans hail from a planet they called Luminara, Samantha explained. A world of unimaginable beauty, but one that's dying. Their sun is expanding, slowly rendering their planet uninhabitable. The screens shifted to show the gradual decay of Luminara, once lush landscapes turning to ash, oceans boiling away, and the desperate evacuation of billions of beings. The Zartharans are refugees, Samantha continued, her voice filled with empathy. They've traveled across the cosmos in search of a new home, but they don't seek to conquer or replace us. They propose a symbiosis, a mutually beneficial coexistence. Murmurs of disbelief and skepticism rippled through the audience. Samantha raised her hand, calling for silence. I know this sounds impossible. Believe me, I was skeptical too. But the Zartharans possess technology and knowledge far beyond our current understanding. They offer to share this with us, to help us solve some of our most pressing global issues, climate change, disease, energy crisis, in exchange for the right to settle in our less hospitable regions. The alien beside Samantha stepped forward, its large, iridescent eyes scanning the room. When it spoke, its thoughts were transmitted directly into the minds of all present, causing many to flinch in surprise. We come in peace, the alien's voice resonated in their heads. We seek not to conquer, but to cooperate. To learn from you as you learn from us. Together, we can forge a future brighter than either of our species could achieve alone. As the alien's words faded, the room erupted into chaos. Questions flew from all directions, a cacophony of voices demanding answers about the aliens' true intentions, the specifics of their technology, and the implications for Earth's sovereignty. Amidst the uproar, a stern voice cut through the noise. And what guarantee do we have that this isn't just the prelude to an invasion? The room fell silent as General Zhao Lin of the Chinese People's Liberation Army stood, his eyes narrowed with suspicion. Samantha opened her mouth to respond, but the alien beat her to it. With a gesture of its long, slender fingers, a holographic projection appeared in the center of the room. It showed Earth, but not as anyone had seen it before. The planet was surrounded by a shimmering, translucent shield. "We offer you this," the alien's voice echoed in their minds. "A planetary defense system capable of repelling any external threat. We will teach you how to operate and maintain it. This is our gesture of trust and our commitment to peace." The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembly. The possibilities were staggering. Earth, protected from asteroid impacts, solar flares, and any potential hostile aliens. It was a game changer. As the implications sank in, Samantha noticed a shift in the room's energy. The initial fear and skepticism were giving way to curiosity and cautious optimism. She seized the moment. "People of Earth," she said, her voice ringing with conviction, "we stand at a crossroads. We can choose fear and isolation, or we can embrace this opportunity for growth and collaboration. The Zartharans offer us knowledge that could propel our civilization centuries ahead. But more than that, they offer us a chance to prove that humanity is ready to take its place among the stars." She paused, looking around the room, making eye contact with as many people as she could. "I've seen their world, felt their thoughts. They are not so different from us. They love, they fear, they hope. They've traveled unimaginable distances, not to conquer, but to connect. Can we find the courage to reach back?" As Samantha's words hung in the air, an unexpected voice broke the silence. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the renowned Japanese xenobiologist, stood up. "I volunteer," she said, her voice trembling but determined. "I volunteer to be part of the first human team to visit the Zartharan ship, to learn to understand, and to show that humanity is ready for this leap." Her words seemed to break a dam. Suddenly, scientists, diplomats, and even some world leaders were standing, offering their support and expertise. The tide was turning. As the meeting adjourned, plans were already being made for the first official human delegation to the Zartharan ship. Samantha felt a mix of relief and trepidation. The hardest part was yet to come. Outside the UN building, crowds had gathered. Some held signs welcoming the aliens, while others protested, fear and anger evident in their faces. Samantha knew that convincing the world's leaders was just the first step. The real challenge would be helping humanity as a whole accept this new reality. As she prepared to face the media frenzy waiting outside, Samantha felt a gentle touch on her arm. She turned to see the Zartharan ambassador, its eyes swirling with what she now recognized as gratitude. "You have done well, Samantha Chen," its voice whispered in her mind. "But our journey together is just beginning. Are you ready for what comes next?" Samantha took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "I am," she said, surprising herself with her conviction. "Whatever challenges we face, we'll face them together. Human and Zartharan, united in our quest for a better future." As they stepped out into the bright sunlight, cameras flashing and reporters shouting questions, Samantha felt a surge of hope. The road ahead would be difficult, filled with challenges and obstacles they couldn't yet imagine. But for the first time in human history, they wouldn't be facing those challenges alone. The age of Earth's cosmic isolation was over. A new era of interstellar cooperation was dawning, and Samantha Chen was standing at its forefront, ready to guide humanity into an uncertain but thrilling future. The haunted mansion in space, secrets of the alien vessel. The colossal Zartharan mothership loomed in Earth's orbit, its gleaming surface reflecting the pale blue glow of the planet below. Dr. Samantha Chen stood at the viewport of the human shuttle, her heart racing with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Beside her, Dr. Yuki Tanaka and a team of Earth's brightest minds prepared for humanity's first official visit to the alien craft. Approaching docking bay, the pilot's voice crackled over the intercom. "Brace for artificial gravity shift." As the shuttle glided into the cavernous opening of the Zartharan ship, Samantha couldn't shake the eerie feeling that they were being swallowed by a living entity. The docking bay closed behind them with a resounding thud, sealing them inside the alien vessel. "Welcome, Earth delegation," the familiar mental voice of the Zartharan ambassador resonated in their minds. Prepare yourselves for a journey beyond your wildest imaginations. The team disembarked, their footsteps echoing in the vast, otherworldly chamber. The interior of the ship was a marvel of bio-organic architecture, with pulsating walls that seemed to breathe and corridors that shifted and realigned themselves like a living labyrinth. "It's like a haunted mansion in space," Dr. Tanaka whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. As they ventured deeper into the ship, guided by their Zartharan hosts, the team began to experience inexplicable phenomena. Shadows danced at the corners of their vision, disappearing when looked at directly. Strange whispers in unknown languages tickled at the edges of their consciousness. Is anyone else feeling watched? Professor Ahmed Rashid, the quantum physicist, asked nervously. Samantha was about to respond when a holographic projection suddenly materialized before them, causing several team members to jump back in surprise. It showed a three-dimensional map of the Milky Way, with thousands of twinkling lights representing inhabited worlds. "Behold," the Zartharan ambassador's voice echoed in their minds, "the cosmic web of sentient civilizations. You are not alone in the universe, but part of a vast, interconnected network of life." The team stood in awe, their minds struggling to comprehend the implications of what they were seeing. Earth was but a tiny speck in this cosmic tapestry, yet it glowed with a unique brilliance. "Your world holds a special place in the cosmic order," the ambassador continued. "A nexus point of potential futures. Your choices in the coming years will ripple across the galaxy." As the hologram faded, the corridor ahead seemed to stretch infinitely, leading to a chamber that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. The team followed, their scientific curiosity overriding their fear of the unknown. They entered a vast, dome-shaped room, filled with what appeared to be floating orbs of light. Each orb contained swirling images and sounds from different worlds and times. "The chronosphere," the ambassador explained, "a repository of knowledge gathered across eons. Here, the past, present, and potential futures coalesce." Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the xenolinguist, reached out tentatively to touch one of the orbs. As her fingers made contact, her eyes went wide. "I can see. I can understand." One by one, the team members connected with the orbs, their minds flooded with knowledge and experiences beyond human comprehension. Samantha watched in amazement as her colleagues absorbed centuries of alien science, culture, and history in mere moments. But as the team delved deeper into the alien knowledge, strange things began to happen. Dr. Tanaka started speaking in an unknown language, her eyes glowing with an eerie light. Professor Rashid's hands began to emit a faint blue glow as he manipulated quantum particles with mere thoughts. "What's happening to us?" Samantha asked, a hint of panic in her voice. The Zartharan ambassador's mental voice was calm, but tinged with concern. "Your minds are evolving to accommodate the new knowledge. But be cautious. Too much, too fast can be dangerous." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. The walls pulsed with a frantic red glow. "Intruder alert," a voice boomed in their heads. "Temporal anomaly detected." Before anyone could react, a blinding flash of light filled the chamber. When it faded, a figure stood before them, a human, but unlike any they had ever seen. His skin shimmered with a metallic sheen, and his eyes glowed with an inner light. "I am from your future," the stranger announced, his voice echoing with power. "A future where humanity's union with the Zartharans leads to unimaginable advancements and unforeseen consequences." The team stood frozen, caught between awe and terror. Samantha stepped forward, her voice trembling but determined. "What consequences? Why are you here?" The future human's expression was grim. "To warn you, the knowledge you gain here will change the course of human history. But beware the temptation of power. In my time, we reached too far, too fast. We awakened something ancient and terrible in the dark between the stars." As he spoke, the orbs around them began to swirl violently, projecting images of an Earth transformed, gleaming cities that stretched into the skies, humans with incredible abilities. But there were also flashes of devastation, of shadowy entities that defied description, of worlds burning. You stand at a crossroads, the time traveler continued. The choices you make here will determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The Zartharan ambassador stepped forward, its form seeming to flicker between physical and energy states. We did not foresee this, it admitted. The future is not set. Your presence here has already altered the timeline. Samantha's mind raced, trying to process the enormity of the situation. They had come seeking knowledge and cooperation, but now found themselves at the center of a cosmic chess game with unimaginable stakes. What should we do? She asked, looking between the time traveler and the Zartharan ambassador. The future human's form began to fade, the temporal anomaly collapsing. Trust your instincts, Samantha Chen. The power to shape the future lies within you. Choose wisely. As the time traveler vanished, the team was left in stunned silence. The haunted mansion in space had revealed secrets far beyond what they had imagined. The knowledge they had gained was both a gift and a burden, the potential futures they had glimpsed both thrilling and terrifying. Samantha looked at her team, seeing the mix of fear and determination in their eyes. She then turned to the Zartharan ambassador, whose alien features seemed to reflect a similar uncertainty. We came here seeking answers, Samantha said, her voice growing stronger with each word. Instead, we found new questions, new challenges. But isn't that what exploration is all about? We won't shy away from this responsibility. We'll face whatever comes together. As her words hung in the air, the ship's alarms faded, and the pulsing walls returned to their normal, ethereal glow. The haunted mansion in space had tested them, revealed to them wonders and terrors beyond imagination. But as they prepared to return to Earth, carrying with them knowledge that would change everything, one thing was clear. The true adventure was just beginning. Human ingenuity unleashed, turning the tables. The return to Earth was anything but triumphant. As the shuttle carrying Dr. Samantha Chen and her team re-entered the atmosphere, the weight of their newfound knowledge pressed upon them like a physical force. The revelations aboard the Zartharan ship had changed everything, and now they faced the daunting task of preparing humanity for an uncertain future. Quantum entanglement protocol initiated, the shuttle's AI announced, its voice eerily calm amidst the turbulence of re-entry. Preparing for chronostabilization. Samantha gripped her seat, her mind racing. The team had been altered by their experience in ways they were only beginning to understand. Dr. Yuki Tanaka's eyes still glowed faintly, her thoughts now a mix of human and alien languages. Professor Ahmed Rashid's hands crackled with quantum energy, leaving faint trails of probability waves in the air. As they touched down at the newly constructed Nexus 1 facility, a top-secret compound hidden deep in the Modav Desert, Samantha knew that the real challenge was about to begin. "Welcome back, team." General Michael Stone's gruff voice greeted them as they disembarked. "I hope you're ready to change the world." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of debriefings, experiments, and mind-bending revelations. The team worked around the clock, pushing the boundaries of human science with their newfound knowledge and abilities. In a vast underground laboratory, Dr. Tanaka stood before a holographic display, her hands dancing through the air as she manipulated strands of alien DNA. "The Zartharan genetic structure is incredible," she explained to a group of wide-eyed geneticists. "It's not just double helix, it's a quantum helix. Their genes exist in a state of superposition, allowing for instant adaptation to new environments." Meanwhile, in a reinforced chamber deep below the surface, Professor Rashid was demonstrating the principles of quantum entanglement communication. "Forget fiber optics," he said, his voice tinged with excitement. "We can now transmit information instantly across any distance, even between stars. The implications for space exploration are staggering." But it was Dr. Elena Rodriguez's breakthrough that truly changed the game. In a secluded room filled with humming machines, she stood before a shimmering portal of energy. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced to the assembled team and military officials, "I present to you the first functional wormhole generator. With this, we can create stable Einstein-Rosen bridges between any 2 points in space-time. The room erupted in gasps and excited murmurs. General Stone stepped forward, his eyes wide with awe and a hint of fear. "Are you saying we can teleport, travel through time?" Elena nodded, a cautious smile on her face. "In theory, yes. But we must proceed with extreme caution. The temporal anomaly we encountered on the Zartheran ship was just a taste of what could happen if we misuse this technology." As the implications sank in, Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. They had unlocked powers beyond imagination, but at what cost? The warning from the future human echoed in her mind, a constant reminder of the responsibility they now bore. Weeks turned into months as the team worked tirelessly to integrate their alien-inspired innovations into Earth's technology. Cities began to transform, buildings reshaping themselves with smart materials that adapted to environmental conditions. Energy grids were overhauled with zero-point energy reactors, providing limitless clean power. But not everyone welcomed these rapid advancements. Protests erupted around the world, with some fearing the loss of human identity in the face of alien influence. Others saw the new technologies as a threat to existing power structures. In response, Samantha and her team launched Project Prometheus, a global initiative to educate and empower people with the new knowledge and technologies. Virtual reality centers were established worldwide, allowing people to experience immersive simulations of alien worlds and future Earth scenarios. "We're not just changing technology," Samantha explained in a worldwide broadcast. "We're evolving human consciousness, preparing ourselves for a future among the stars." But even as humanity took its first steps into a new era, darkness loomed on the horizon. In hidden corners of the globe, shadowy organizations began to exploit the leaked alien knowledge for their own gain. Reports of techno-cults and quantum terrorists began to surface, threatening the delicate balance of the New World Order. And then, on a quiet Tuesday morning, it happened. A massive energy surge was detected in the heart of New York City. Witnesses described a tear in the fabric of reality itself, a yawning portal of swirling darkness that opened in the middle of Times Square. As panic spread and the military scrambled to respond, Samantha and her team rushed to the scene. What they found chilled them to the bone. Emerging from the portal were creatures of nightmare, entities of shadow and energy, defying the laws of physics as they moved. The very air seemed to warp around them, reality bending in their wake. "It's happening," Samantha whispered, remembering the future human's warning. "We've awakened something in the dark between the stars." As the creatures advanced, feeding on the fear and chaos around them, Samantha knew that everything had changed. The knowledge they had gained from the Zartharans had opened doors they couldn't close. Now they faced a threat beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. But as she looked at her team, seeing the determination in their eyes, Samantha felt a surge of hope. They had unlocked the secrets of the universe, pushed the boundaries of human potential. Now, it was time to put that knowledge to the ultimate test. "Activate the quantum defense grid," she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "And get me a direct line to the Zartheran ship. If we're going to face this threat, we'll do it together, as allies, as equals." As the battle for Earth's future began, Samantha Chen stood at the forefront, ready to lead humanity into its greatest challenge yet. The age of human ingenuity had truly begun, and the fate of not just Earth, but the entire cosmos, hung in the balance. Triumph of the human spirit, a new era for Earth. The sky above New York City crackled with otherworldly energy as the interdimensional rift pulsed ominously. Dr. Samantha Chen stood at the front line, her team of enhanced humans and Zartheran allies by her side. The fate of Earth hung in the balance as shadowy entities from the dark between stars poured through the portal. "Quantum harmonizers online," Professor Rushid shouted, his hands manipulating holographic controls. "Initiating chronostabilization field." A shimmering dome of energy enveloped Times Square, temporarily holding back the tide of extradimensional horrors. But Samantha knew it was only a temporary solution. Dr. Tanaka, status on the Xenogenesis protocol. Samantha called out, her eyes never leaving the writhing mass of darkness beyond the barrier. Yuki Tanaka's eyes glowed with alien knowledge as she interfaced with a floating array of bioorganic computers. Genetic recalibration at 87%, she reported. But Samantha, we're walking a fine line here. Push human evolution too far, too fast, and we risk losing our humanity entirely. Samantha nodded grimly. The warning from the future humans still echoed in her mind. They had to find a balance between advancement and preservation of the human spirit. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. A massive tentacle of pure darkness smashed through the quantum barrier, sending shards of energy scattering across the city. It's now or never, Samantha shouted. Activate the Prometheus protocol. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stepped forward, her hands steady as she manipulated the controls of a device that looked like a cross between a particle accelerator and a mystic artifact. Prometheus protocol engaged. May the gods of science have mercy on our souls. A beam of pure, radiant energy shot from the device, connecting with the Zartharan mothership hovering above the city. In an instant, every human on Earth felt a jolt, as if their very DNA was being rewritten. Across the globe, people began to change. Some developed telepathic abilities, others found they could manipulate the fundamental forces of nature. But it wasn't just physical or mental enhancements. Something deeper was awakening within the collective human consciousness. As the transformations swept across humanity, the tide of battle began to turn. Ordinary citizens, newly empowered, joined the fight against the interdimensional invaders. A hot dog vendor telekinetically hurled his cart at a shadowy beast. A group of teenagers combined their electrokinetic abilities to short-circuit a colossal energy parasite. In the heart of the chaos, Samantha felt a new presence in her mind, the collective consciousness of humanity, united as never before. She realized that the Prometheus protocol hadn't just enhanced their bodies and minds, it had connected them all at a fundamental level. This is it, she called out, her voice resonating not just through the air, but through the minds of every human on Earth. We are humanity unleashed. We are the bridge between worlds, the guardians of reality itself. With a united roar that shook the foundations of reality, humanity pushed back against the darkness. Samantha, channeling the combined power of billions, faced the core of the interdimensional rift. We are not your prey, she declared, her voice echoing across dimensions. We are not your playground. We are humanity, and this universe is under our protection. A blinding flash of light erupted from Samantha and spread across the globe. The rift collapsed in on itself, the shadowy entities shrieking as they were banished back to the dark between stars. As the light faded and the dust settled, a new world emerged. The skyline of New York had been transformed, gleaming spires of impossible architecture reaching towards the heavens. But it wasn't just the city that had changed, the entire planet had been reborn. In the days that followed, humanity grappled with its new reality. The Zartharans, true to their word, helped guide Earth's transition into a new era of cosmic citizenship. The planet was welcomed into the Galactic Concord, a federation of advanced civilizations spanning the Milky Way. But even as humanity reached for the stars, they didn't forget the lessons of their trial by fire. Samantha Chen, now revered as the architect of Earth's ascension, established the Terran Guardians, a group dedicated to protecting the balance between advancement and human spirit. We stand at the dawn of a new age, Samantha addressed the United Nations, her words broadcast to every corner of the globe and beyond. We have faced the darkness between stars and emerged stronger. But our greatest challenge lies ahead, to explore the cosmos, to push the boundaries of science and spirit, while never losing sight of what makes us human. As she spoke, holographic displays showed the wonders that awaited humanity, terraformed planets, megastructures harnessing the power of stars, and gateways to dimensions beyond imagination. The universe is vast and full of wonders, Samantha continued, her eyes gleaming with the knowledge of countless worlds. But remember, in all our travels, in all our discoveries, the greatest frontier will always be the human spirit. For in our hearts lies the power to shape reality itself. As her words echoed across Earth and into the stars, a new chapter in human history began. The age of cosmic exploration had dawned, with humanity standing tall among the stellar civilizations. Earth, once a pale blue dot in the cosmic ocean, now shone as a beacon of hope and possibility for the entire galaxy. The journey that began with a mysterious alien abduction had led to the ultimate triumph of the human spirit, and as Samantha Chen looked up at the star-filled sky, she knew that the greatest adventures still lay ahead. For humanity had not just reached for the stars, they had become one with them, guardians of a universe full of infinite possibilities.